Hello, live again. What have I got to say now? Alcoholics Anonymous. Doesn't work. After 26 years experience, I can categorically state that Alcoholics Anonymous doesn't work. The meetings, the humans who hold these meetings. The program of recovery which they're supposed to be offering, which is the main purpose of an AA meeting, it works. It works fine. In my 26 years experience, there's very few, rarely have we seen a person fail who thoroughly follows our path. That's good. And it's true in my experience and my investigations. Rarely have we seen a person fail who has thoroughly followed our path. So the next question is, okay, what's your path? We wrote it in a book. We were sensible enough to write it down, get it down in black and white, so that nobody could screw with it, because that's all I've been doing since, is screwing with it. We leap forward, 39, leap forward 20 years, and I think it was Bill W., but anyway, it doesn't matter. Sobriety. Freedom from alcohol through the practice and teachings of the 12-step recovery program is the sole purpose of an AA meeting. Sole purpose. No more. I don't know. Latest example. I went out for a wander, and I came across a meeting in south of Oxford somewhere, and they were reading out of this book, Daily Reflections. I think it was printed in the 60s, maybe even the 70s. So it's nothing to do with recovery, because there's only one book, and that was written 30 years, 20 years before that, the big book of Alcoholics Anonymous, with the clear-cut set instructions. So the simple question is, why are you reading from that book? You're just going to confuse people. A newcomer comes in and starts listening to that stuff, they'll think, well, all right, so if I follow that, that'll be okay. Now, it may well have might tick the box for it as a recommended reading, but everything AA suggests is after you've taken the steps. So it doesn't really matter. You might find it interesting. But to bring it into an AA meeting, and use it as a basis of some sort of recovery is actually criminal, because people's lives are on the line. And yet the secretary sits there, and whoever else sits there, and they all sit there. Nobody ever questions it. Until somebody like me wanders along, just passing by and I drop in. And then you look at you and think, who are you? You're a troublemaker. We've heard about people like you. Oh yeah, the big book thumpers, yeah. Yeah, that's me. Step Nazi. It's quite shocking, isn't it? Step Nazi. That shows how sober these people are. And, it's just truly and utterly shocking. And all of this stuff is the reason why they were inspired to write that simple little paragraph. Sobriety, freedom from alcohol, through the practice and teachings of the 12-step recovery program, is the sole purpose of an AA meeting. Freedom from alcohol. No longer need alcohol. May not make it a lot of difference, but yeah, it makes a lot of difference to you as a person. It does. There's no getting away from that. My experience and my own personal experience was a revelation, because I learned things that I should have learned as a child. It should have been taught to me in a way that it became intuitive. I was ignored as a child. I was just a burden, as with the rest of my siblings, because my mother was a drug addict, albeit on prescription drugs. And it's a very irresponsible woman, having 5 kids to a guy who was probably an alcoholic. Maybe she had contraception of some sort. Okay, it was hard in those days, to be fair. There's no excuse for anybody getting pregnant nowadays. Well, for a lot of people who get pregnant. No excuse. And that's a good thing. It's a good thing. But that's another argument or debate. Let's have a debate. So my mother had no chance. She was probably brought up in a way that gave her no chance either, because her sisters ended up in screwed up relationships as well, with 2 alcoholics. Ah, bingo. There you go. 3 out of 3. 3 sisters married to 3 alcoholics. There's got to be some connection there. But that's for Al-Anon, perhaps. But that's how it happened to me. The seed was sown as a child. And I didn't know they were sowing the seed. I didn't know what it was going on. I didn't have a clue. You know, just poor wee me. I stopped growing. Spiritual malady stopped growing. I worked out through step 4 that it was perhaps the most traumatic time in my life, even though I didn't know it was traumatic, is when my father died. Then things started to I started to get frightened of things and all of that stuff. Up to that point, even though he was a drunk, and when he earned money, he earned good money. And that's what was left with 5 kids and a widow's pension. Yet fascinatingly, a couple of years later, she ends up pregnant again and ends up having fucking twins. Excuse my language. Twins. You couldn't make it up, could you? How irresponsible is that? What do I owe my children? I owe my children security and love. So I'm going to be secure. I'm going to make them know what it is to be able to be secure and to show love. Oh dear. It even just drains me thinking about it. And they don't talk about this stuff in Alcoholics Anonymous. They don't talk about the program. They don't talk about steps. They don't talk about how profound steps 4 and 5 are. They don't talk about practicing 10 and 11 on a daily basis, because that's the only steps you practice. Once you get to 12, you're there. You've reached it. Hey, I've arrived. I've recovered. To all intents and purposes. When you get to step 10, to all intents and purposes, you have recovered, as long as you maintain your spiritual condition. You do that through 10 and 11. You then become intuitive. It's 10 and 11. You do it without thinking. Like washing your face and brushing your teeth and riding your bike. That's how it is. It's how simple it is. And that's how simple it is. So what's going wrong? They realised in the late 50s that the bunch of adult children that they were dealing with were doing their own thing. And they tried to intervene in that respect with that powerful, powerful paragraph. And Clarence Schneider, who was one of the pioneers, and yeah, but big man in many respects. Not so sure I would have liked him, but it's powerful stuff. You know, he talked to a convention in Hawaii with 5,000 people in this room, and he turned around and he says, "I don't get newcomers anymore. I only get them when you lot have screwed them up." And they all laughed, you know, that nervous laughter, neurotic laughter. Is he talking about us? Who else would they be talking about? Excuse my language. And yet, there he was. If you want this program, come to my house and you can have it over the weekend. What you say? They can't say that. If you follow the clear cuts and precise instructions, yes, you can. I've done it many times. By many, I mean hundreds. I was quite surprised, not that long ago, to find out that the man who took me through it told me he'd taken 60 people through it. And wow, I've taken hundreds through it. But maybe he wasn't. Yeah, I've got a wee bit kind of addicted to meetings. My initial year was just a nightmare, as it is for most people, because they don't get off of the program. Nobody comes up to them and says, "You alcoholic?" "Oh, not too sure." "When you want to stop, can you?" "No." "When you start, can you control the amount you drink?" "No." Guarantee when you finish. No. Well, you've probably got a problem, and we've got a solution to that problem. First paragraph in chapter 4 covers that whole statement, and if the answer to it is, well, I'm not sure, or no, I actually don't think so, well, either way, off you go. Go try some controlled drinking. Come back when you're ready. They don't do that. The other way Irish woman a few weeks back said that. I said, yeah, over in Ireland they say that to me. If they're not sure, there's a fiver, go and get yourself a drink. Come back when you're ready. Oh, no, you can't do that. Oh, you'll kill them. All these people culminating in the snowflakes. You can't say nothing. You might upset a snowflake. God, how embarrassing it must be to be a snowflake. How can you possibly, with any sort of logic and any sort of morality or ethic, consider yourself to be a snowflake? Jesus. The world's gone mad, I'll tell you. We thought it was bad in the 60s, Vietnam and all that stuff. Jesus. Johnny Macaroni. So we're in troubled times, I would say. But here we've got a programme. And first 9 steps, they're in the past tense. Once you've done them, you've done them. You never have to go back to them. This is all fact, by the way, because you can read it, cross-reference it. Unless, of course, you relapse and resume drinking. You need a minute. Or you have the pleasure. No, not pleasure. Privilege. Quite often a pleasure, sometimes not. Sometimes really difficult stuff. Some of the stuff I've heard is just so serious and so overwhelming. Yeah, if you have the privilege of taking somebody through this program. All right, that's okay. I get depressed just even thinking about it. The voice in the wilderness. Why don't you listen? And yet, it is so simple. A simple program. Step 1, you identify the problem, powerlessness. Step 2, you identify the solution, a power greater than yourself. Step 3, you make a decision to turn your life and your will over to the care of God as you understand God through the first 3 chapters, if nothing else. Quite a lot of people don't even need that. Right? So you've got to turn your life and your will over. Yeah. Okay. So you're ready to take certain steps. Certain steps. Not just any old steps. Certain steps. I've heard alcoholics in the rooms sticking to the... Well, no, I don't. No, that's not the way I would describe it. No, I wouldn't interpret it that way. No, I interpret it. Well, go away. Set up your own meat of my interpretation of the 12 steps. Why not? Why hang about here poisoning the water with your rubbish? Kind of person who called me a big book thumper. Step that. So, made a decision to turn our lives and our will over to the care of God as we understand it. Praying only for... No, that's not it. Silly Billy. Yeah, maybe. Get my book. No. It's somewhere about some tattles. Yeah. I made the decision. So the decision takes action. And the man, see, when I went to the man, I think I was nearly 41 years of age. Might have been. Yeah, might have been. Yeah, would have been 41. I had the mind of a child. And I didn't know that. So I had to put to me ways that a child would understand. You see? But yeah, that's really hard to do that when because he kind of susses that you think I'm stupid or things like that. That's why it was so difficult to write the book. And yeah, they'd done it in 11 months. They had to remember how best can we put this? The only thing we can do is to tell them what we done. Not tell them what to do. Tell them what we done. We'll invite them to follow our path. And if they take up the invitation, then we are allowed to instruct them. Wee Laurie, Chelmsford. It's not a book of instructions, it's a book of, what is it you used to say? It's a book of suggestions. This allegedly 30 odd years sober, God knows, certainly doesn't sound it. I should send him a copy of this. It's a book of suggestions, isn't it? I suppose then it begs a simple question. Laurie is a retired journalist, a man of words and such things. Perhaps like more educated than me, I would guess. What are they suggesting, Laurie? Oh, you never thought beyond that point, did you? What they suggested was, because they can't tell you to do it, they can only suggest, is that you follow their clear-cut, precise instructions, Laurie. Right, okay. Let me crawl away into a hole. He is full of people like that. They're very sick people, and they seriously undermine. They are responsible for AA being in the state it's in. Because some people look at them. Newcomers walk into these rooms, they don't say a word, they just listen to certain people. They would listen to a Laurie. It's a book of suggestions. It's not. I don't need that. Don't need to come here for that. I can get that in the house. Yeah. Well, due respect to the Al-Anon members, just my little joke. Just in case you think I'm too serious. Well, that's how disgraceful it is. You know? There's Laurie, 35, 36 years sober. He claims. And he's making a fundamental error. And he knows it's fundamental error because it's there in the book. We're suggesting that you follow clear-cut, precise instructions. And if you don't follow clear-cut, precise instructions, what are you doing here? Because this is all it's about. Practice and teachings. Oh, right. Fascinating. I left school at 14. It's just total retard. I went to grammar school, like grammar school. Can you imagine? They didn't even come to check up on me. They were glad to see the back of me. I was an embarrassment to them. Except for my art classes. I used to go to my art classes when I could be bothered. Because I liked art. And they had good facilities. Well, so I'm not educated. Not educated in this. And here we are, talking about Laurie, the book of suggestions, suggesting that you follow the clear cut. So it's a book of instructions, Laurie, right? That's now a fact, yeah? Because they said it. Clear cut, precise instructions. Okay. First part of which, personal house cleaning. I remember somebody told me about this wee woman. She mentioned the personal house cleaning, this wee woman. When she came back the next day, or whenever it was, she said, yeah, I've done it. What did you do? I cleaned my house. Poor wee soul, that's what she thought it meant. You know, it's so lovely and innocent, you know. A grown woman, probably a mother. But there she was. And you'll think, I'll get your approval. All that stuff. And I've dealt with a few people like that. They were just so innocent and naive and just blown away by this method. This God-given method. I'll risk that. They didn't do it on their own. Try to tell me there's no God. Bunch of ex-drunks who'd have screwed up a 2-car funeral. They'd have argued where to put a full stop. Yeah, they created this masterpiece within a year. Try telling me there's no God. It's hard to argue against that, really. And I like that. And here's these bunch of ex-drunks. They're putting this book together. And they're showing us how to do it. Clear-cut, precise instructions. Personal house cleaning. Main problem with that is I resent people. Alcoholics resent an awful lot of people and things. People, places and institutions and such. Everybody used to say, oh yeah, people, places and things. Yeah. What does that mean, things? What? You know, and I'm too frightened to ask them because I don't want them to think I'm a dummy. because I'm caught up in the bondage of self. And I don't know what the bondage of self means. And they totally forget this when they come out with these statements, you know. Oh, dear, dear, dear. I'm going straight back to where I was at, you know, and it really is very, very sad. And God does know how I survived it. God does know. I met a man described in page 18 of the book, just to let you know. So it's a personal inventory. So a list of people I resent. They don't say a list of people who resent you. Well, me? Oh, listen. No, I'm not done. But so they're clever. They're very clever. They know who they're talking to. They know who they're dealing with. Adult children, this is who we're dealing with. So this was a course we took. They say that's a nice wee statement. This is a course we took. All right, fine. So I'm taking the course, yeah, right. Okay. So I write down the list of names down the left-hand side of the page. And for how many pages it takes, you get 7 names on a page on the left-hand side. 5 lines across just to leave that bracket for each name. So you can get 7 in. Top left-hand corner, draw a line down the margin. I resent. In the middle, which is, you draw another line down the right-hand side. Bit further out in the mid. I resent, the cause affects my. So you do the first column first. You don't go across the way. You bring it all together at the end. You start going across the way, you start getting mixed up, and you start getting back and editing things and stuff like that. And you know, it's not that deep, to be perfectly honest with you. Turns out it is that deep. But it's not that intricate, it's not that demanding, it's not psychotherapy. It's child therapy. So I've got my list of names, then I've got the list of causes, and then I've got the list of what's affected. Was it my sexual relationships? Was it my personal relationship? Was it my wallet? There's about 5 different things. Read it, chapter 5, page 66 or whatever. So I make out that list. I also make out a list of people, places and things, of institutions that I don't like. You know? And principles in life that I don't like, rules in life that I don't like. Oh yeah, that's a good one, isn't it? You ask any kid, what rules do you? I don't like this rule, I don't like that rule. And that's the way it is with our kids. What rules don't you like? I don't like that rule. You're talking to a child. Cool, bit it. It's good, this stuff. Really is so good. And I keep coming back to it every now and again. I've been pretty depressed these past few days, and it kind of worried me because I don't generally get that way. But it's to do with my health. And so there they have it. And they considered it carefully with the man, because you're at the man's house. Yeah, you're at the man's house. You consider it carefully, and you work out who acted towards you because they're just horrible, nasty people, and who reacted towards you because of you. This is when you begin to break it down. All right, so the nasty, horrible people suggested that we try and pray for them. Not immediately, but you know, sometime maybe get around to praying for these sick people. But then we have to return back to the list. And resolutely, next we return back, but we return back to the list. Setting aside the wrongs of others, we resolutely looked for our mistake. Where were we at fault? Whom had we harmed? My mistake, my fault. Whom had I harmed? Wow. Now it's really starting to open up. So if I hadn't done this, he wouldn't have done that. No. And if I hadn't done this, he wouldn't have done that. Yeah. Because he was just one of the nasty ones. That's the difference. One who reacts towards you because of what you've done, and one who acts towards you just because you're there. And probably being an adult child. Yeah. And just being bullies and horrible people, nasty, horrible people. Most of us are familiar with that. So there you go, I've got this. All right. So I've started to balance things out now. And of course, it's a whole list. that you're now looking at from a different perspective. And you begin to get, wow, awakenings. Geez, so that's what was happening. I never knew that. Wow. I've got another screen up here, so I can see myself from a slightly different angle. From a professional point of view, right? And, I can be funny at times, but this is not the time, because this saddens me. A really deep, deep heart saddened. So I have a look at these people and find out who's reacted towards me and who's acted towards me. And I discover what harm I've done to them. When I was a selfish, dishonest, self-seeking and frightened. Oh, right. Yeah, right, okay. And nothing's too small. Nothing's too small. If you think it's too small, get it down. Boom, get it down. Don't mess about it. You have a look at sexual conduct of things. Most of the alkies I've dealt with couldn't be bothered with sexual conduct of things. It just kind of came their way. You know, they'd rather be in the pub having a drink. But such is life, I suppose. But it's wrong. And sometimes you have to make amends for that as well. You know, the sexual conduct. And you have to be careful. We'll deal with that in step 9. So we then have a look at our fears. What we're fearful of. You know, people are frightened of certain things, and understandably so. But it's what you're fearful of, you know, and is it having a neurotic effect on you? You know? I don't fly. I could fly anywhere in the world. Just now I could pick up the phone and book a flight. And if my back wasn't giving me so much jip, one of these days I might just do it. One of those world tour ticket things. That might be handy. But my back's knackered. Do you know I went to the hospital about 3 weeks ago, waiting for this life-changing operation? I was lying in the bed. I was prepared. They were preparing me to go in for surgery, and along came the anaesthetist, and he decided that they couldn't do it because I had a chest infection. Not that they couldn't do it; they didn't have the tools to do it. That goes to the National Health Service. So they wasted all that time. And it was just shocking. And it's kind of knocked me for 6. I don't think I've given that enough consideration, but it's knocked me for 6 or 4. Because I'm still here. And I'm still talking. And hopefully being rather positive and demonstrative and all of that stuff. And it's surprising so many actors are alcoholics or drug addicts. Same thing. Spiritual malady. Oh, right. Hop on board. So the fear thing is, don't like flying. Don't like it. Frightened of people in certain situations. Like on a plane. If I was on a plane and there was people banging and jumping about, that'd drive me to fucking distraction. They'd have to fucking stop the plane. You know, I can't handle other people's noise. I picked it up from my mother. It destroyed my mother. And I picked it up. And it's a hard one. It's a hard one, you know. Somebody was outside the next door and they were chatting away. Somebody, I could hear them. I'd have to go out somewhere, exercise my options. That's the best aspect of it, and I'm aware of that now. I don't want it to take over me, but it's not good. And I did definitely learn that from my mother. Step 4 showed that. It's not nice at all. So yeah, those fearful, not just frightened, full of fear. Okay, right, fine, sorted on that. So we consider with the man on page 18, where he's there with me all the time, by the way. Yes, all the time he's there. I'm at his house, and I'm doing it. Nowhere to go, no hiding place. And so we discuss it with him, and he talks about the pros and cons of certain things. Not make any judgments either way. Just be careful with this and be careful with that, and you may have to consider how the other person. I started to learn how the other person may have been thinking. say, oh my God. And here's me thinking, oh my God, oh, I'm going to have to say sorry to that person. How powerful it was. How powerful it was. And don't forget, I'm a 10-year-old retard. You know, there's a lot of people, there are many people a lot smarter than me. Maybe some of them are too smart. So the man opened up all these doors. I had all these spiritual awakenings. Wow. Wow. That's all it was. Wow, wow, wow. You know, institutions that I resented. It's kind of interesting to make an amend, because this is what this is all about. This is where our amends list comes from, you know. The people we've made a list. Amends list. How do you make amends to these institutions? I did once. The local dole office, or whatever they call it, well, they call it that in this country. And I managed to con them out a few quid. I thought, right, okay, feeling all righteous, you know, 10-year-old just starting to grow up and more righteous. And I phoned up the dole office. Well, I phoned them up for a different reason, because I was still on the benefits. And I decided, yeah, right, okay, well, I've got something else I need to tell you. Oh yeah, what's that? Well, last year or whenever it was, I was doing that, and I didn't quite tell you the truth and whatever else. And by this time, I think I was working. And the wee woman says, and I said, I'm trying to get sober and all that stuff. You know, the wee woman, God bless her, said, well, that's good. It's nice to see you're making an effort to get yourself well, and it's very nice, and don't worry about it. Don't worry about it. Kind of thing would have sent me drinking. Don't worry about it. Thank you. Enough. That was it. And she was a good judge, because I'm still here. And I've given back so much. It's astonishing. This government owes me millions of pounds on lost revenue alone. Whoa. People have... So yeah, making amends can be a bit difficult as well. Like that was kind of scary, that one. You know, some people who you might think will react badly to you. Interesting how it turns out. Most of them turn out to be okay, pretty good, say, right, fine, thanks, but you know, still don't like you. But that's okay. You know, I'm only there to clear away my side of the street. And there's a few good examples of that. And it's seriously healthy thing to do. Seriously healthy thing to do. And so I make amends to people. But anyway, 5 or 6, so forget myself. Step 6, right? Okay, is that right? We're done yet? Right? Okay, but there's something that you're rolling back. You don't. Yeah, it's okay. We've got a prayer for that. Step 7 prayer. Okay, so I just do the step 7 prayer until I become willing to make amends to these people I'm having difficulty with. Yeah. They knew everything. These people were wonderful people. Wonderful people. They knew everything. There is a warning. The alarm bells are ringing. So-called sponsors who shouldn't exist. Telling people when they're making amends some of the things that they tell them that they've got to do. It's just utterly shocking. I'd had a few stories from people regarding sponsors. I said, well, but you've been through this process now, so you realise how flawed they were. Yeah. So maybe you can go and take them through the steps. That would be paradoxical. But there's some nasty stuff. And this wee woman, I was talking about something about making amends. She was in the process of doing the steps. Yes, a woman. If women waited for women, they'd be waiting a long time. I took this wee woman. And she gave me this scenario. And it turns out that, cut a long story short, her sponsor had told her that she would have to make amends to her father who sexually abused her. The reason being because she resented him. I point out to the wee woman that is complete and utter trash and should be stuck in the trash bin, and the guy's just sick as a parrot and all of that stuff. And she burst out crying. She didn't actually say it was to do with her. She made up the story, you know. And then she burst out crying. I said, "Oh, Ray, why are you crying?" She says, "Well, that's what my sponsor told me I had to do." I said, "Well, he's a damn disgrace. He should be prosecuted for saying that kind of stuff." And what a difference it made to that wee woman. She must have been thinking about it quite a time, saying, "I'm going to become this, I'm going to become this." As soon as I reassured her, whoa, became a different person, lit up. You know, from a downtrodden, oh, here we go. That's an awakening. That's an awakening. And I'm proud of that. I'm so proud of that. That's when I need to think of any good stuff. That's generally up there. The best of stuff. That wee woman, God knows what she is now, God knows how she got on them. But she had every weapon, every tool in the armoury to prevent a relapse. But this is what some of these so-called sponsors are saying to people, and it's shocking, absolutely shocking. All I can do is point out to them this and the next thing, whatever the book said. I can't guide them. And just obviously you've got to be honest, but you've got to know what you're being honest about. Most people are just repeating what their so-called sponsor said to them. Is it honest? How do you know? Yeah, and wow, Jesus, Johnny. Yeah, there on page 18. Once again, to illustrate the mystery of these people. Mystery. So, you know what I mean? The expertise that they showed when they were talking about the ex-problem drinker. He's not a problem drinker anymore. No, because he doesn't drink. Okay. Who has found this solution? Spiritual experience. Right. Yeah, but people can get experiences and they don't even know where they've come from. I've met a few of them in AA. And so that's a far more good because I can't give it away to anybody because I don't know where it came from. Who's in possession of the facts about himself? How did he get the facts about himself? He took the steps. Right. And down at the bottom of the page, they're reinforcing this message. The person making this approach. Find yourself a sponsor. Find yourself a sponsor. So you don't get a sponsor? Yeah. That's all the stuff I heard. Well, it's not my job to find myself a sponsor. It's the group's job to supply a sponsor. The person making this approach. Oh, he's approaching me. Even the man who helped me didn't approach me. Which is a bit sad. But I was angry. And growling and screaming my face off. My mother always done that. She was always in stress and she couldn't hear properly because her ears were all plugged up to keep the noise out. And any time you spoke to her, she went, you know. And it's kind of scary. And that's the way I was. And what? What'd you say? Well, actually, what I mean is, pardon, could you repeat that? But that's not angry. Anyway, that's the so-called sponsor. Without them, little or nothing can be achieved. That's a sad fact because 25 years, AA is not going any better in my experience. It's got worse. Get snowflakes. There will be books being read in the AA meetings that should never be opened at all. The only book that should be opened is a big book of Alcoholics Anonymous. They have spiritual meetings. Oh no, not spiritual meetings. They have meditation meetings. There's one not too far from here. It's a feelings meeting. Oh, right, feelings. You discuss your feelings, do you? Well, if you're going to discuss your feelings, then you have to discuss your thinking. Because that's where the feelings come from. That's, of course, you hammer a nail in the area and you feel the pain. But other than that, you know what I mean. Feelings. And I said that to them once and they get really upset. Oh, you're always criticising. What's common sense for it? I'm thinking about the newcomer here. You know, feelings. Where do feelings come from? They come from your thinking. So we have to approach it. We have to be a thinking meeting. But it's in the book. The problem with alcoholics, it's starts, the problem with the alcoholic starts in the alcoholic's head. He has to change his thinking. Oh, it's in that bloody book again. Jesus, no fun with that book. There is no escaping it. There is no escaping it. Step 8. Made a list of people we'd harmed. We'd done it when we took inventory. And a young guy down in Camden. There's a young drug addict. I'm on step 8, my sponsors. I'm on step 8. So, yeah. What's it say, step 8? You got made a list of people we'd harmed. Yeah. We done it when we took inventory. Yeah. When did they take inventory? This young guy reacted very well to it. They done it when they took. They done it in step 4, and from that came a list of people they'd harmed. So you don't have to do anything; you just state the fact. And then you get step 9 when you go out to make amends whenever possible. Discuss it with a man before you do it, because you can cause a lot of problems if you make mistakes. Like, sorry for having an affair with your wife. What? Yeah, and all that kind of stuff. So you have to be very, very careful. And you're very conscious of that. Quite a few pages dedicated to step 9. There's about 5. So that's a powerful message in itself. Step 10. Continue to take personal inventory, which is different from the moral inventory, you'll notice. And when we're wrong, promptly admit it. Personal inventory is just what's happening on a daily basis. And you write it out the same way. Simple. Most effective way of doing it. Yeah. I resent so that because my mistake, apart from all right, fine. That's pretty cool. Well, initially in your serving your apprenticeship, you contact the man and share it with him. I remember saying that to him. I've not got time to do this. He says, you've plenty of time for drinking. Yeah, fair enough, fair enough. And very gentle, very nice about it, actually. He's that wee smile, you know. Plenty of time for drinking, John. Yeah. Message received and understood. My step 5s are up above it. You can just see them up there. The whole folder full of step 5s. And I'd done those step 5s until it became intuitive. Until it just became part of me. This is me, it's intuitive. I wash my face and brush my teeth. Whereas I used to brush my face and wash my teeth. Just a little joke. I did get that mixed up once. Quite funny. Yeah. I wash my face and I brush my teeth and I don't think about it. I go on my bike and I cycle and I don't think about it. I drive my car. I don't think about it. Just get in and drive it. Don't think about what I'm doing to make it happen. Because I've done it so often and it works that it's become intuitive. We will intuitively know how to handle things that used to baffle us. Wow. Isn't that just dynamite? You know, go back and read that guy's step 4 and then, whoa, I tell him what he's going to know. And you keep that inventory. And you finish every day with a gratitude list. That's cool. Yeah. Clear away all the stuff out of your head. Make sure you don't take anything to bed with you. Imagine us the alkies. What we used to take to bed with us. Jeez, I wonder if we got any sleep at all. Now I'm free. I can put my head on the bed and have a sleep. Step 11. Sought through prayer and meditation. That's what I was looking for earlier. To improve our conscious contact with God, praying only for His and the will for us, or her will for us, and the power to carry that out. So I'm thinking to improve my consciousness. Well, that would just happen. Whatever you choose to do is whatever you choose to do. And I don't make any judgments on, no, that's so sure about ISIS and Muslims. No, these practicing. Sorry, retract that. Get a wee bit drawn into things here. Because it might just well be a wee Muslim who's an alcoholic. I bumped into one in Luton a couple of months ago. A wee woman, she was all headscarfed up and all this and face covered, whatever else. But I think she had other problems, that wee woman. I've never seen her again. And but I'm digressing. I'm being distracted. Get behind me, Satan. That's what you're doing, you stepped in. Just keep a check. People who keep diaries are generally well together people. You know? Generally well together people. Generally got on okay in life. Keeping their diaries. There are a few exceptions, of course. But there's always exceptions. So step 11. Sort through prayer and meditation. Prayer, whatever the prayer is. I've got a few examples. Make up your own, whatever. Lord, I offer myself to thee. Serenity prayer is quite neat. Covers everything in a paragraph. Yeah, you can do that. And that's cool. So all it leaves is 12. Having had a spiritual awakening through these steps, 10 and 11, we practice these principles and resolutely, I think it says, try and help other alcoholics, suffering alcoholics. It's good. That's how it works. So you come to AA, and if you're going to a correct AA meeting, you'll be given the opportunity to go through this program, if not on your bike, and for your sake as well as ours. And so within a couple of weeks, you're practicing steps 10 and 11 on a daily basis. Wow! You talk that in the AA rooms. Oh yeah, was it wee Jimmy, the wee Scottish punk from Live? I can't remember. It's up by that. It's up that way anyway. One of those new towns. Up north of Stevenage. Yeah, it's 30 odd years sober, he claims. Not very sober. Yeah. He's very critical of that kind of stuff. Yeah, they express train to heaven, you know, and other stuff like that. Very sick, very disappointed. But claims to be 30 odd years sober. Yeah, wee Glasgow hard man. Nothing hard about him at all. I had a confrontation with him once. I've not had one since. So perhaps he's learned his lesson. It's sad, isn't it? Everybody should be glorifying this program and everybody should be talking about wonderful things happening on a daily basis. Yeah, we've got people at him express train to heaven, you know, criticising the book. Shocking. And these are the people who are seriously diluting the AA message and causing me to go onto this platform and communicate, because I really can't be bothered with the abuse and the ignorance, and because 20 years ago I would have been quite capable of taking other action, but now too old, my back's too bent and buckled, and it really does depress me. And thankfully, because of this program, I'm able to work it out and not fall into that ravine or that cave of morose and needing to drink to change the way it makes me feel, you know. And that's why AA fails. There's nobody pays any attention to the book. And it's shocking and disgusting. I've recognised it. I go back to challenge it. Something about what I'm saying challenges it. I go back to talking about the programme as it is in the book, and that challenges them, which is astonishing. And a statement that was made to me, and I shall finish on this. When I first got this program, I was flying, literally flying. Wow. And I went to a meeting and they started cross-sharing, sharing back That's what they call cross sharing. Aye, well, that's my idea. When I first came in, I thought that as well. I'll just keep coming back. You'll be okay. You know, the subtle and some not so subtle criticisms, which really upset me. Because I thought, I've got it here. I've got it in a folder. You should carry my folders with me. And I went to the man. He says, well, sadly, John, the truth is, if you talk this programme in those AA rooms, you'll end up drinking coffee on your own. Wow. Boy. What? If I go to an AA meeting and I talk about the AA programme, I'll end up drinking coffee on my own. Yes. Why is that? Because they don't want to hear it. It's an AA meeting. You have to set up your own meeting, which I've done on a few occasions. One of the best meetings in England, probably Scotland, Britain, is a Tuesday afternoon in Stevenage. Topic discussion meeting. AA recommended that when they saw things going downhill. Specific or suggested topics. I'm now thinking back to me why. It's a good book. It's a book of suggestions. No, it's not. You fool. Shut up. Put a gagging order on them. And they were all aware of it, and they predicted it, and what the man said to me 26 years ago, 25 years ago, turned out to be so true. They don't want it. They'll kick you out of the meeting first. They did that. Well, they did it. I went along with it. I can be bothered with it, you know. They banned me from the meeting because what I was saying was upsetting people. There was one little agitator, you know, the main one, little Maureen. Yeah, maybe you'll get to listen to this, Maureen. A nasty, spiteful little piece of work. You didn't agree with what I said? Yeah, so what? Why should anybody be bothered with you not agreeing with what somebody says? We jealously guard the individual's right to have and to state their opinion. Don't you know that, Maureen? That's very powerful, isn't it? You think, well, there must have been something going on even then. We jealously guard the individual's right to have and to state their opinion. And it just makes me feel sadder. But it did inspire me to come onto this platform stuff, Medium, and just talk in the comfort of my own home. And do something decent where I don't know how long we've been at it. Yeah, it's 50 odd minutes. I'm kind of working out about 50 odd minutes. These are all just kind of trial runs. I don't know if anybody's ever answered me or responded. But there you go. All of that. I've given you the solution as it is in the book. Simplest thing in the world. Read the book whilst you're listening to what I'm saying about it, and you're saying, oh, yeah, right, okay. And if not, then you're part of the problem. And this is what I hope you read this and you realise, yeah, that's what I'm like. But my sponsor says it was okay because that's what he's like. So I'm as sick as a parrot. Yeah. And so is your sponsor. Yeah. Off you go and tell them. Whoa. And you'll be dynamite. Well, it's been a pleasure talking to you, if anybody's listening. And I'll call it a day at that. So, thank you. Bye. Doesn't seem to be wanting to turn off. Yeah, I'm sure I want to end my stream, you silly machine.